Hello everyone. Today we will discuss theories of personality. Okay, after understanding the determinants in the previous class, of human personality, our next step is to identify specific psychological, physiological stages that occur in development of human personality. Okay, this stage approach has been theoretical in nature. Many psychologists have contributed to the stage approach. The prominent among them, Freud is one, Erikson is another, Alfred Adler is another person, another psychologist, Carl Jung, Levinson are the eminent uh, psychologists who gave different theories, and these different stages which we have considered in the name of different psychologists we will discuss now in the name of theories, right? First we'll see the Freudian stages of psychoanalytical theory. We'll see the Freudian stage of psychoanalytical theory. uh, in psychoanalytical theory, what he has stated, we will see. Sigmund Freud, generally we call Freud Sigmund Freud. Psychoanalytical theory of personality has been based primarily on his concept of unconscious nature of personality, right? It is based on the notion that man is motivated more by unseen forces than by conscious and rational thoughts. According to Freud noted that his patient's behavior could not always be consciously explained. It was a clinical finding which led him to conclude that a major force which motivates a human being is his unconscious framework. Okay, what are the features of this psychoanalytical theory? We'll see now. Psychoanalytical theories, as derived by Freud, attempts to explain personality and the basis of unconscious mental forces. According to Freud, human mind is like an iceberg. He has compared that human mind with the iceberg, consisting of different stages of consciousness. At the deepest part of the iceberg lies the unconscious level, which consists of violent motives, immoral urges, fear, irrational wishes, selfish needs, unacceptable sexual desires, shameful experiences. He said that these will, found in unconscious stage. He has compared the same with the deepest part of the iceberg. At the upper level, at the apex of the iceberg, upper level, that means if we consider apex is middle, that is where sublimation, the point at which water and that is just above the surface of water, which was exposed to outside, and just below the water, we call it as middle part. Middle of the iceberg lies that pre-conscious level, which consists of memories and stored knowledge. According to Freud, the middle part of the iceberg is associated with the conscious level of human being. At the tip of the iceberg, that is what apex of the iceberg, lies that conscious level, which consists of thoughts and perceptions. The main feature of this theory, as allows, is level of consciousness. Human beings are unaware of some aspects of their mental stages. Various levels of consciousness are conscious. One is conscious and the other is unconscious. What we are aware of, pre-conscious memories that can be recalled. If you have remembered anything, that you can reproduce again, if you can get recalled. That is what we call as consciousness. In your consciousness, what happens, that will be stored in your memory, and whenever it wants, you want to recall it again, it will be reproduced. Unconscious is another level of conscious, that is wishes, feelings, impulses that lie beyond our awareness. What you think, what you want, you may dream it. During your you want something, that may be uh, beyond your awareness. After wake up, you may not remember something, right? Freud argued that personality is made up of multiple structures, some of the okay some of which are unconscious. Freud argued that as human beings have impulses that cause them anxiety. We have impulses. We call them as in Telugu prachodanalu antam. Okay, they cause them anxiety, ఆందోళన గురి చేస్తాయి. Their personality develops defense mechanism. ఆందోళనలో ఏం చేస్తాం? We want to protect ourselves, and the defense mechanism will develop to protect against anxiety. ఓకే, యాంగ్జైటీని ఎదుర్కోవటానికి, ఆందోళన ఎదుర్కోవటానికి మనం డిఫెన్స్ మెకానిజం రూపొందుతుంది. రైట్, వెనెవర్ దెర్ ఈస్ అన్ ఇంబ్యాలెన్స్ ఇన్ ద relationship among these forces, it can be dealt through. What is coping strategies? If we found some imbalance in order to deal with anxiety, coping strategies and defense mechanism generally. In defense mechanisms refers to unconscious mental processes that protect the conscious person from developing anxiety. These can take a few forms. One is sublimation. Person channels energy from unacceptable impulses to create socially acceptable accomplishments. What we call it as sublimation. Okay, in real world that may not be accepted. Channel energy from unacceptable impulses. The society may not agree with your wishes, but you want to overcome that anxiety with unacceptable impulses to create socially acceptable. You want to make yourself cool. Okay, you want to get energy from unacceptable impulses. Denial. Person refuses to recognize reality. Denial. Sometimes defense mechanism we use denial. That is, person refuses to recognize reality. Right? And projection. Person attributes their own unacceptable impulses to others. Right? Another is repression. Anxiety evoking thoughts are pushed into the unconscious. Right? We call repression. Rationalization. Sometimes we use the concept rationalization, substituting socially acceptable reasons to overcome the anxiety. Intellectualization. Ignoring the emotional aspect of painful experience by focusing on abstract thoughts, words and ideas. We are diverting our mind to some other things in order to forget the painful experience, to overcome from that agitation. Reaction. Formation. Refusing to acknowledge unacceptable urges, thoughts or feelings by exaggerating the opposite state. Another is regression. Responding to a threatening situation in a way appropriate to an earlier age or level of development. We call this regression. Displacement. Substituting less threatening object for the original object of impulse. Right? And this framework includes 3 conflicting psychoanalytic concepts according to Freud. That is id, ego and superego. We'll discuss in detail about these 3 concepts. That is, first, the id. It is the foundation of the unconscious behavior and is the base of libido drives. What do we call them as? In simple words, it is the source of psychic energy. Right? It is the source of psychic energy and seeks immediate satisfaction of biological or instinctual needs. Instinct. What we call them as inborn traits. If you feel hungry, certainly you want to eat something. The needs include such as sexual pleasure, other biological pressures. If it arises, you want to fulfill without considering any socio-cultural norms. It has animalistic instincts of aggression, power and domination. We call it as how the animals behave. They do follow any norms? No. Like human beings, what they thought. What dominates? Aggression dominates in them. And if they are hungry, they want to eat, whether that is ours or not. That is, if you get the cattle to a farmland for grass, that wants to eat, whether it is the owner or not. That is, as an individual matures, he learns to control the id, but even then, it remains a driving force throughout life and an important source of thinking and behavior. People who are id dominated becomes criminals. People who are id dominated becomes rapists. Okay, they don't want to abide by the norms, okay, cultural norms, rules framed by society. They are animalistic instincts they have. They want to fulfill immediately their urge. Okay, that is what we call it as id. And then we have another component according to Sigmund Freud to reach the personality, that is ego. Ego is associated with the realities of life. Okay, if you want to theft something, stole something from us, okay, you will be prison. You know that, right? Ego is associated with realities of life, just as the id is the unconscious part of human personality. Ego is the conscious and logical part because it is concerned about the realities of external environment. If you commit, okay, mistake, you will, if you know the consequences, okay, and you are conscious about that mistake, you never commit the mistake again because of ego. Okay, right? The ego of a person keeps the id in check whenever it demands immediate pleasure. Okay, if you want to take something, if you want money, okay, if you want money, you have to earn, you have to work hard. Okay, that is one way. Ego suggests that work hard and earn money, whereas id suggests that go and steal a bank. Okay, the consequences not considered by the id. With its logic and intellect, ego controls the id. Okay, if you steal the money from bank, if you steal money from bank, you will be prisoned. Okay, you will be put in the jail. So id, okay, will be controlled by the ego. That the pleasure unconsciously demanded by human beings are granted at an appropriate time and place, okay, and in an appropriate manner by the ego. Another is the super ego. The super ego is the higher level force to restrain the id and is described as the conscious of a person. The superego represents the norms of individuals, his family, and the society, and is an ethical constraint on the behavior. The conscious of a person is continuously telling him what is right and what is wrong. Okay, a person may not be aware of the working of the superego because conscious is developed by the cultural values and inculcated in the persons by the norms. I think you have understood that. Superego is the higher level force of restraint and the id and is described as the conscious of a person. ఓకే, అంటే అక్కడ ఇడ్ ఏమవుతుంది అంటే దౌర్జన్యపూరితంగా లైక్ ఎనిమల్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు బిహేవ్. వెరాజ్ సూపర్ ఈగో వాట్ ఇట్ సేస్ represent the norms of individual and you should be abide by the rules and regulations. Okay, okay, it will, what it will do, it will make you to sacrifice your things, right? Too ethical, right? His family and society and ethical constraints of behavior, okay, represent the super ego. తెలుగులో అయితే మడిగట్టుకొని ఉండడం అంటారు. ఏది చేయాలన్నా అమ్మో ఇది ఇట్లా అది అట్లా అంటుంటుంది. వీటికి బ్యాలెన్సింగ్ ఏంటంటే ఈగో. ద కాన్షియస్ ఆఫ్ ఎ పర్సన్ ఈజ్ కంటిన్యూస్లీ టెల్లింగ్ హిమ్ వాట్ ఈజ్ రైట్, వాట్ ఈజ్ రాంగ్. Okay, a person may not be aware of the working of the super ego, okay, how it is working may not be known, but because conscious is developed by the cultural values inculcated in the person by the norms of the society, right? This is all these three elements are interrelated, right? In order to create a normal personality, there must be a proper balance in the relationship among these forces. Example, if the superego is overdeveloped, a man will become very impractical and irrational. Okay, He will be fear of scarce of everything. One, okay, super ego is dominating, overdeveloped in him. He will scarce of everything. He will feel guilty over trivial matters. Okay, such a person cannot exist in the modern life. This is dynamic world. We are exposed to lot of different things. In this modern life, no such person who is dominated with a super ego will not exist. We would make a man highly immoral or with very few morals. Then there will not be much difference between the man and the animals. Okay, man, okay, if make a man, it adjust loose, okay, which would make a man highly immoral, like behave, okay, tells the man behave like a animal, okay, or with very few morals will be associated with it. Then there will not be much difference between the man and animals. If it dominates the human beings, there is no difference between the man and animals. Therefore, there must be a proper balance between these three forces, that is, ego and superego. What are the contributions of Freud on this regard? We will discuss. First, personality and psychotherapy theory. Okay, he has contributed for personality and psychotherapy theory. Importance of early childhood experience he has given. Concept of unconsciousness. He has introduced concept of unconsciousness. Emphasis of helper role in therapeutic relationships. Okay, therapeutic, prophylactic, therapeutic. Okay, emphasis of helper role in therapeutic. If somebody is suffering with some psychological factor, then they will be advised to take medication or in the form of counseling. That is, emphasis of helper role in therapeutic relationship is done by Freud only. Scientific approach to mental health and continuum from physical health. Okay, scientific approach for mental health. If you are mentally fit, you are mentally consistent, then your physical health also continues to be good. People think that only because of physical efforts and everything will they suffer with diseases. That is not correct. The main source for the diseases is mental health. If you are mentally ill, certainly you will get some disease. The hormonal imbalance in your body will make you to prone to diseases, right? Limitations of Freud work. What are the limitations? Of course, we have discussed a lot of merits in this. In spite of those merits, we will find some limitations. That is pessimistic and deterministic approach to personality. Here, what is pessimistic? In Telugu, we call it as Nirashavadam. Deterministic approach personality, okay, was Freud theory. Pathology based theory. This is, okay, generally we use in medical. If you get some what we call it as unhealthy condition, then you approach the doctor in order to know your health condition. Okay, doctors sometimes may prescribe, okay, some tests. You need to approach a pathologist for that. The concept which is given by the Freud is pathology based theory, right? And no controlled studies. Okay, we didn't make any experimental studies on this. That's why no controlled studies. We didn't make the controlled studies. We have not made any controlled studies in the lab. That's why poor research, we can call it as. Unconcerned with interpersonal relations. Unconcerned with interpersonal relations. We have not considered the interpersonal relations. Only we have described about the traits that are, okay, concepts which found in the human being that are responsible for the personality. Individual identity and adaptation over one's lifetime. Okay, individual identity and adaptation over one's lifetime is not also considered. The biggest drawback of this theory is that it is based upon theoretical concept. Okay, theoretical concept. Okay, based on the studies of Freud, he has okay, postulated the theory. That's why it's a theoretical concept. It does not give a total picture of behavior emerging from the personality. It could not give total picture of personality emerging from the personality, right? The theory is not very relevant from behavior point of view. evolution of psychoanalytical theory. Okay, we need to evaluate. Psychoanalytical approach to personality structure analysis has made some impact on organizational behavior. For example, some behavior of the employees, which is unconscious in nature, can be brought out with the help of psychoanalytical analysis. Right? Such behavior may include daydreaming. Okay, generally we call them as bucket kallu antuntam, and alcoholism, consumption of alcohol, absenteeism, okay, forgetfulness. These are associated with, okay, uh, psychoanalytical analysis. Okay, when we employees associated with employees in unconscious nature, okay, those can be uh, brought out with the help of this psychoanalytical analysis. For the development of organization, some techniques to improve the interpersonal communication skills, okay, can be developed with the help of psychoanalytical analysis. And the biggest of this theory, okay, the biggest thing of this theory is that it is based upon theoretical concept. It does not give a total picture of behavior which is emerging from the personality. This is, as we have discussed, the same in the limitation. Therefore, this theory is not very relevant from the behavioral science point of view. Okay, these, what we call it as limitations, gave birth another psychoanalytical concept that is given by Carl Jung. Okay, with this, because of paucity of time, I conclude this session and we will discuss in another session. Okay, thank you. Right.